call it EE or you can call it TAN. Okay, so our main focus on the last module for your training will be optimizing root cause. Right? Optimizing root cause. Who understand that? What does that mean? Anyone want to share? When you read this word optimizing, what does that mean? Not too much, too little. Make it too little.
Make the process simple.
Make the process simple. Efficiency. It's always talking about when we talk about optimizing, we need we are going to narrow down something, and then we want to improve efficiency. Okay? No efficiency improvement, and there's no point of doing optimization. Okay? Agree or not? Yeah, disagree, disagree have to show them. Okay? Basically, why he invited me because he knew that I do a lot of people. Okay? I'm actually a performance management consultant. Right? So one of the things that we always do is optimization. So when we talk about optimization, there are few things we look into. Like for example, why I say balancing workload. If your workload is not balanced, then that means either you are overloaded or underloaded. Agree? Yes. Is underload good thing? No good, right? Overloaded? Also no good, right? So it's always talking about before we can talk about workload balancing, what do we need to look into? Alignment. Align with what? Is the correct word to use. Alignment is the word. What do we align to? The goal and objective. What else? Business direction. Yes. A lot of people from OKR, objective key result, they say it's KPI, wastage, and you push it to your appraisal, right? You push it to your appraisal to measure them whether you will achieve all this, right? So like big company like Nike, they have over few 100,000 workers all over the world, right? They cannot, right? The C-suite, the big boss, when they make a decision, right? It's very difficult to qualify down to everyone to stay alive. Agree, huh? Okay, but then today I want to talk a little bit about streamlining your workflow. Every department must have workflow because this workflow is a guidance for you to communicate well with the team. And also we use workflow to measure things. I hear just now Muni and Eddie talking about the appraisal, right? Some of the staff ask what money is it, right? And Marcus also say very well reflection, right? So normally, if you have communication regularly with your staff, knowing what they do, you shouldn't have this problem. Therefore, we need to establish visibility within your department. Okay. Who can safely tell me that my visibility of my team I know very well? So we have this. Boleh? Huh? Enough. Sure enough now. When it is enough, your staff will not ask you this question during appraisal. You also don't know me, how you visible. Agree or not? When we talk about communication, we are talking about regular. When we're talking about regular, especially immediate staff, immediate subordinate, at least practically every week must have at least one session. Yes. And then when you talk in this, we call it a performance dialogue. Because I'm a performance consultant, right? So we talk a lot about performance. So even we design our meeting, what we should talk. What are you focusing? For example, sales, what do we focus? Sorry? Target.
Commission.
Sorry? Figures. What figures? Target achievement. Right? Collection. Without collection, there's not a proper close sales, right? So actually, in sales meeting, weekly meeting, we actually want to monitor the activities of each of the salespeople. Do you all agree or not? Activities of the salespeople. Don't talk about target first, right? Talk about the activity. Does he has enough activity for them to be busy enough to create the target that you want? No activity, whatever target they set. Make sense or not? Doesn't make sense, right? In fact, I have a classroom. I understand the intention here is you have a very big sales team where you actually go out and sell, and then you have an even bigger team on the service department, right? 44 staff, 42 if I can recall properly, right? So these are the fundamentals of CapCut. You don't manufacture, but you actually do a lot of trading, selling medical equipment. Correct? Okay? So bear with me, we will go through all this. What do we mean by balancing workflow? What do we mean by streamlining the workflow? Every department should have their workflow. Because of knowing your workflow, I will demonstrate to you why is it so important that we need to know our workflow well so that we can improve and find out where is the weakest link along the workflow, and then you start to improve. And these are sustainable because while you improve one place, right, the other weakness will occur. Then you improve another one. That's how you elevate the standard of your department. Okay? And getting stronger and stronger. Okay? Then next, empowering people. Do you all believe in this word? Empowering people. Yes. Show hand, please. How many times have you been? So why are you going to agree? Oh, DJ? Angkat setengah saja. Angkat setengah saja. Dia macam setengah setuju, setengah tak setuju. 50-50. Empowering nowadays is very important. Okay? Because we want to be lean, right? We don't want to be overloaded workforce. Right? Because every workforce is cost. You want to make the company profitable, we have to have a very structured workforce, right? Where we actually target based on our workflow, then we target what are the workflows. Can you see the link right now? Why the workflow is so important? Because it allows you to study what is the workflow of each people. Right? And then you decide whether you want to hire, is your team too bloated or too lean, you improve. Bottom line is, you want to achieve what? Just now I use the word. Just now we use the word. What do we want to achieve? So we eat.
Efficiency.
Yes, efficiency. When we have efficiency, definitely we have. Agree or not? Show hand please. I want to see the hand put high up. Okay? Make sure you all, when you have any question, please ask me. Because along the way I will just shoot, because there are a lot to cover today within the next few hours. So any question in your head, you don't feel comfortable, just ask. Alright? Okay, so before we start, let's introduce yourself so that I can understand you all better. Example, if I were a medical device, okay, example, hi, my name is T.E. Tan, okay, T.E., you can call me T.E. or you can call me Tan. And if I were a stethoscope, right, I believe I want to be this device because I want to listen to your problem. By listening to the problem, then we can do the clear enough. Right? A lot of time we only listen to when we conduct interview with bosses tell their problem. Right? Then we come up with a solution. Is it good or bad? Yes or no? Betul tak? Bagus tak? Good or bad? If I listen to bosses, let's say, we normally we call it area sequence in consulting terms. So we actually talk to bosses, right? So we listen to their pain. They why are they thinking they're not taking enough, or they want to improve the next level, but they do not know how to, right? So these are bosses' pain, their problem. Is it enough or not to solve a problem by listening to bosses only? Why? Anyone can share? Jelly?
After listening to the issue, maybe you can think some ideas on what is the solution, and also you can share your feedback then with us.
Okay. Normally, what we want is we want to listen to most of the people. So, let's say if I'm going to talk to the boss, I will also talk to HOD. Right? Every one of us have our challenge, right? If not, we won't be employed. If the job is so easy, we won't be here today. Agree or not? Right? We are here to solve problems. Agree or not? Right? Based on our experience, we solve problems. Right? So we are here to do our job. So when we do our job, definitely we have challenges, right? Especially when you say about planning, like, oh, I want to plan today 10 tasks I want to do. By the time we start working, right, we have 20, 30 tasks. Agree with me, show hand please. Right? Then we're talking about priority already. Wait, strongly agree. Strongly agree, right? So that's why it is very important we know what we are doing. You only have 24/7. Okay? You have to choose what is priority to solve the problem first. Okay? Alright, so maybe share with me, just like I share with you, T.E. Tan stethoscope, because I believe I want to be this device so that I can listen to everyone's problem properly before I come up a solution. So what device suits you better? Who wants to start first? This side or that side? Jalan, you start first? A medical device. Describe it better. Your situation better. For my work, I think it's something I want to say.
I volunteer. I start first.
You need to record it. Pick up lines.
Please stand up and share with everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Muhammad Fahmi. Just call me Fahmi.
So let's listen to Fahmi.
If I were a medical device, so if I were government life, I not just what I may also
What device you choose again?
government life.
You know,
Not just to treat the patient, to tumor, but also to know what is your problem, your issue, to support to. Yes. Treat the problem. Take care. Not just to treat. Okay, also to listen also lah to the problem.
Okay. Thank you. The turn is we go one table by table so that I can also record and you remember. My name is Kam. If I will next one. Actually, I can send you everything. So, what do you want to see through? What do you actually to see through? Which are the people to see through? How can I actually help you in your work? By seeing through, how seeing through everything later, then can know the problem immediately and give the solution immediately. Okay? Agree or not? Okay. Next, please.
My name is DJ. I was B-Tech. I would like to treat people well, serve people, and then as the name B-Tech also is powerful as well. Fast, powerful enough, and all the things. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Next.
I'm not high end as you all. Okay, if I were a medical device, if I were a surgical glove,
Okay.
and used to feel people safety.
You want to feel.
Feel where?
Okay.
For customer service, so if I were a medical device, maybe simple one, thermometer, so I can detect whether you have fever or not. Means I can detect the problem, very straightforward. Yeah.
When they are having a high temperature, then you have to use different strategy to cool them down.
Maybe for myself,
Okay, well done. Next, Marcus.
I'm Marcus. If I'm a medical device, I will also be an X-ray because I sell X-ray. But not just that, but because I want to encourage transparency within the department and within people.
Nice. Okay.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Mahizat.
Sorry, I said that.
Yeah, for service.
Marcus, just now you mentioned the word transparency. Okay, maybe you would like to find a better word than transparency. When we talk about transparency, a lot of people think that actually we need. So if you meet some of the customer, oh, our company very transparency, then they will perceive little bit. So maybe may I suggest that maybe what we want to have is visibility, right? Because visibility allows us to understand the scenario better, right? We see, we hear, and we touch, like the feeling is very important, right? In order to diagnose patient, sick people is also the same as diagnosing the sick people. You know all these elements to help you to understand the company better before you be able to do proper medicine. Okay? But I like the word transparency. CT scan. Sorry, I said.
Hi, my name is Isaac. So if I were a syringe, I would just inject ideas and solutions. I will try to get solution in the
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jess. If I were a medical device, I will be a ultrasound to scan through like what you say just now. Diagnose, check through the problem, diagnose it, then we know where is the root cause and
Awesome. Thank you.
This is Karim. If I were a medical device and I'm choosing an injector to actually help you to prevent anything, prevent the virus, do the vaccine, to prevent any things happen before.
trainer come to a company, right? We always hear, oh, wonderful thing, oh, very extreme, either very wonderful or very bad, right? But the actual fact of this company, how it perform, we have to go through all these different type of devices or different type of tools to pick up the signals. Okay. Next, please.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn, and if I were a medical device CT scan, so that I will know that what they are really thinking.
CT scanner.
CT scan actually scan
The whole entire brain to understand 100% of its brain, or just no, right? Okay. Next.
Hi, morning. My name is Mira from KRA department. So if I were a medical device, I want to be a treatment planning software. Is part of it is because in QRA you plan something, but in treatment planning software also you plan, you test first, and you adjust accordingly to the patient. So in QRA, we not only plan for you to do works, you must follow the CA, but we also would like to inform you that the process can be catered to your needs, to the outputs, to the customer needs, and to the stakeholder. It's just that we need to feedback to the system again.
Thank you. So you do a lot of planning in your work.
Full time. QRA, through process, SOPs.
Awesome. Okay, next.
Hi, my name is Mama. Okay, before I start, right, I have one question to you.
Sure.
Have you heard of hermits?
Hermes. You mean the back.
Oh, very good. You got it right. But then when I heard about hermits, right, also have that thinking in mind. But then in medical field, right, we have hermits.
Okay.
Right. And before I start, I want to actually share a small story, right? Okay, this morning I had a catch up with Helen, which is my neighbor's next to me. So from there, right, continue to catch up with daily stories, and also actually learn today, and that will link to disability and efficiency. So when you come to this topic, right, suddenly it inspired me, right? If I were a medical device, I want to be meter, type of meter, where you heard about the name Hermes. We have the brand is called Hermes as well. This meter is very special. This is a OC meter. Okay, it actually will actually provide the sensitivity, and that will tell you the efficiency itself, how it works. Okay, this medical device is a kind of meter which is called OC meter, and it had a model name called also, right? Hermes and also how it works. It will have pills, a solution that will really go inside your body. You already mentioned this is planning the usage you want to use. But then, how effective it will, right? We have question mark, right? You need visibility, and then only you know whether it's efficient or not.
Yep.
So you have dosing in the body, and then you use this dosimeter, then you have visibility, and then you know whether it's efficient or not in the usage. This is the sharing for me and for my as well.
Yes.
Thank
Awesome.
you so much.
So normally this type of equipment, right, you don't like, right? The result come out, it's not a cut, unless it's garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you are putting the correct thing into it, it will give you a very accurate answer, right? Awesome. Alan.
Hi, morning. My name is Alan. I would like to be cerebral healthcare AI. So I want to have big data to know what is the customer needs, and I would like to become a solution enabler to all the customer requirements and needs.
So if you want to be that, how do you challenge ChatGPT?
ChatGPT is overtaking
This is specific for healthcare AI.
Okay.
Alan one is a personalized AI.
Personalized AI, yes. Actually, that is very important. Okay, I did also software development for client, right? So personalizing is very important nowadays. AI, there are too many data out there. They call it big data and all that, right? Some are rubbish, some are good. We don't know, right? So personalized AI really means It's only you, my data. So a lot of companies right now they are also focusing on developing their own IP, intellectual property. For example, farming, right? I can grow durian tree nowadays. The other day I went to this Tanamamu, Pahang. They can grow a durian tree 1 year, 4 seasons. Okay, the tree itself, you will see there are fruit now, there are fruit for next season, and another 2 more seasons. Okay, the whole cycle. Right? So again, if they use AI, use data, they can actually collect all this data for themselves and don't share it out to the outside world, only on their own company knowledge, their own IP. It's actually very useful. Right? Good, well done. Next.
Only I need a small observation. If I were a medical device, I would choose to be specs which can diagnose and do the therapy.
Okay, good. Ready?
That's why I create more symptoms and problems. Not only I to diagnose, but I to really talk to you by giving a lot and a lot samples anecdotes, so that you can also talk to me, and also I'm giving you the problem. I give you the symptoms, sometimes the symptom without talk as well. Sometimes talk only, no symptom, just to talk to you. So at the same time also I'm predictable. Like when you repair my engine, my car can be punctured, or my chair can be cannot move. So because I need my attention as soon as I give my attention to the person.
Very guy. Very guy. Okay, awesome. Okay, next.
My name is Ikea. If I were a medical device, I would like to pick up ultrasound. Besides diagnostics, it also can bring hope or care happiness to a family. Because when you scan it and do that, they will feeling.
Okay, well done. Next, please.
Hi, I'm Zeki. If I were the medical device,
Sorry, your name?
if I were a medical device, usually I would choose the MRI scans, whereby I will know that what is the actual certain, not overall issue that we can detect, the problem we can detect by the MRI also, but at least that they can detect certain like the brain, like the spine, like the joint, your soft tissue. So at least I know that what happened of my employee, they are facing any pains or any challenge. Then after that, then subsequently will be look for those expertise who are via device or treatment device or whatever scanner, whatever thing, then to help the company to solve the problem.
Good. Awesome. Hey, don't be careful lah. Okay, next.
Morning everyone, my name is Heidi. If I were a medical device, I also would become an MRI scanning. The reason being is because we as a HR, we hope that we can understand staff overall so that we can actually helping company because we are like a bridge
together and cross for blood pressure. At least I know everyone's capability, so that can achieve the efficiency of work.
Yeah, you guys are starting to pick up the word efficiency very well here now. Always remember as a HOD, efficiency of your team is very important. Because if you are very efficient, right, then that means you are very productive. Next, please.
From no more MRI. No more MRI. Let's back to the basic. If I were a medical devices, I would be a weighting scale.
Whoa.
Wow. Sensitivity scale. Okay. So without the because I believe that to diagnose yourself, to see through your own way and what to do is in charge by the own person. So you are the one who in charge of your plan of what you want to do. So rather than getting the help from the AI analysis, the person should be in charge of what the
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, I always blame myself now. Okay, because I'm obesity at the high side. But I think I'm finding a tough challenge to bring it down. Mainly because I also didn't put effort enough to do much exercise, right? So yes, very true. Sometimes if we can see ourselves, especially reflecting ourselves first before we talk about others, right? So if you can actually pick a lot of those signals. Okay, all right. Let's go. Okay, I will skip this slide. Basically, like I say, I'm a performance management consultant that we actually focus on behavioral change. We always believe your performance right now for this company is this level, right? You want to do better, you must have something to change. If you don't change, you still practice the same, will it elevate to another level? Yes or no? Yes, sir? Can I? If you don't change, like for example myself, right? Just now we say obesity, right? If I don't change my habit, will I actually tackle my problem? No, right? So everything is always changing, right? So how we want to change is very important. Why HOD is so important here is like just now Muni say, right? I have a staff promoted, right? Then she still thinks that she's doing the day-to-day job, and then he's living poor. I'm 100% correct, right? She doesn't understand that when you are actually promoted to be a supervisor or a HOD, your tanggung jawab is slightly different, right? So that's why what Kat say is very true, right? Normally, HR will actually go through with them what are their additional job right now, right? I don't pay you this job and then you get promoted also do the same job, right? But what is the difference? Then we start out very clearly and to see it, they know, they understand, being measured, how it measure, using KPI, how to measure it, and all that, it will help. Right? Soft skill, we must have, do we have skill set or skill flex? Anyone heard about this word skill flex before? Should we have it? Flex. Flexible. Skill. Flex. Anyone? Oh, not hearing this word before. Show hands. Okay. It's always encouraging. All HOD for your job scope, you must have a skill set first. What type of skill they need, right? Then you start with N1, 10 or 1 to 5, up to you. Okay? But each grading must have a reason how to achieve one from 0 to the maximum. Example, if I say my HOD as a sales guy, sales head, all these scale, probably you will reach averagely and on. Right? When you hire executive, you don't expect them to reach 10 point, right? Agree or not? So if you start to develop this skill set and then you flex it, that's why you say flex, right? We want to develop this executive who is very good potential, right, in your department. I want him to depend, or I want him to achieve. Let's say, for example, now he's 3. I want him to achieve 6 first this year. Then only you will know what are the elements or what are the training program that he needs to take, or maybe on field training with you, he need to learn to achieve this number. Still. So it's always good if you can draft out the workflow. Each workflow will tell you exactly what you need. From the workflow, you can actually establish what type of skill needed to excel in this job. Agree or not? Or confused? Who is confused? Show hand, please. Who agree with me? Can I see some hand? Right? It's very simple only. The work is very tedious, but the concept is very simple. Right? As long as you know what to do, then you start to develop the skill. Like for example, sales, right? First stage, make phone call, make appointment, right? So if this guy doesn't know how to make phone call or doesn't have the courage to make phone call, he already feels safe. So even you send him to classes like negotiation and all that, does he have in his work? See now? So if we actually put the flow nicely, you know where is the weakness are. Either our development of presentation that is not enticing enough, or is it our training not enough? People doesn't know how to talk, right? So we know, right? It's just like what Jialan said, right? We measure ourselves. We can see ourselves in each of those. Afterwards, I will show you one of the slides where we use this to actually talk in the board of director meeting to make them understand what is the strength of the team. Okay? So, can you understand now? Skill flag. Who has question about skill flag? Show hand please. Or any question to ask? It's not going to be very specific because there are a lot more to talk about. Right? So this is one of the good things that each department, if you want your team to be strong, you must know what are the skills needed for the job first. Right?
You're saying that the skill set plus the rating and how is it called skill flex?
Correct. You must have a skill set, all the skill set to do the job, right? Your workflow is here. This job, what is the skill that you needed, right? Then you flex it in numbers, right? Flex it to the maximum. Maximum not suit. Perfection is the best, right? But even
incorporated appraisal or with a separate evaluation.
okay, just now we talk about PIP, right? Right? Personal improvement plan, right? We also talk about PDP, right? Who has heard PDP before? Pre-delivery preparation. Okay, it's very similar to that. It's actually personal development plan. Okay, we want to develop our staff, right? We want to develop our subordinate. We want to have a successor, right? I'm getting old, right? When I retire, who is going to take my place? My boss is going to ask me, who should I promote? Agree or not? Right? What do you do? Choose your favorite guy. Is that fair? Right? That's why why when we develop all this as a HOD, you are having a good visibility on your field. And you know exactly, just like medical equipment, we know exactly what is your weakness, what is your strength. We use your strength and we develop your weakness so that your weakness will turn into strength. But if you don't have all this data with you around, can you do it?
What is your suggestion when to start? Like another 6 years to build up the skill set and another year to evaluate.
Skill set, you know what you want, first of all. Then, even if you are HOD, doesn't mean that all your skill set is 100%. And all hand up for your own side. I'm the best in this department. Betul ke? Are we going to do that? If we do that, we are not going to improve, right? So, but we have to also self-reflect. Where am I? How should I improve from here? Just like what Kat just now say, when you say you are at 7, why are you not at 8, 9, 10? See now. So when you have a clearer measurement, I'm at 7 because I only know this. I need maybe some training on leadership, example, to become 8 and 9 as a HOD. See now. So you need to calculate all these things so that you have visibility. Where's the weakness? Where's the strength? How do we improve our conditions? If not, you will never have anything on the plate. Okay? Today, like I say, I'm a consultant, so I'm sharing when people hire me as a consultant, how do we execute things? How do we do that thing? Right? So we will look into just now the three area, right? Workflow. Okay, we want to be streamline the workflow is so that there is no repetitive work, right? Repetitive means what? In workflow, when there is a redundant. Redundant means what?
Wasting time.
Wasting time. Wasting time means what? Inefficiency. Means what?
Waste money lah.
Waste money. Ultimately, it's money matter, right? Right? All bosses are talking about, hey, how are you going to help me make more money? Right? So that is the conclusion. So as long as my team is very efficient, I make a lot of money. So my boss won't crack on me. See that? Okay? Then with the workflow, then we talk about workload. What is the load of all the tasks that we need to do? Certain tasks look simple, but a lot of work, very tedious. Right? And how you going to maximize it? By hiring what kind of people at what rate to do the job. See that? Or even nowadays a lot of people talk about outsource, right? Marketing, right? And you can outsource, but I monitor all the progress of all the campaigns and things like that. Can you understand? So far so good. Should have this. Happy, yeah? So when my later part can ask question, can answer.
And
Okay, so let's move on. So as briefing, introducing workforce optimization. Okay, this is what we're going to do later on. So by 12:30, which we have another 1 hour 50 minutes, we will complete this one. Okay. So now, when your big boss tell you to kindly optimize your team, what does that mean to you?
Increase the efficiency.
You talk about
Faster, respond faster.
respond time faster, increase efficiency.
Reduce manpower.
Okay. What do you think?
better results.
The sound can't be the same with because.
Yes, macam mana?
Huh?
Better results.
okay. Now your boss is not around.
Later you ask my boss.
Okay, your boss say like that, first thing in your mind, are you thinking of retrenchment? He look at you with this. You need your help to ask your team, kindly optimize their team. When you say that, now we are trying to understand why, what inside their way they are thinking.
Fully utilize your
Fully utilize your team, get better result. Or manpower cut. Anyone talking about manpower cut here? When this will come to you.
after you lean only you think about it.
No work and cut.
No work then cut.
Not easy to cut.
Not easy. Not easy to cut, huh? Okay. Optimizing another giant work that you always hear, right? In the market, we call it right sizing, right? So putting the correct people at the correct position to do the correct thing. Basically, that's what it means, right? And then increase efficiency. As long as your department efficiency is good, not overbloated, you are on the right track. Okay, so just now we also talk about efficiency, right? How do we measure efficiency? What causes efficiency? What is controllable? Activities, right? So we must know what are the activities of team doing. You must have this visibility. Without this visibility of their activities, you will never know how good is your efficiency. Agree or not? Go ahead, please. Agree. Who disagree? Show it. No one. Okay. For the next hour, I may give you some wrong answer. Okay. Whether you all listen or not listen. Okay. Alright. So again, very well done. Right. So when we talk about this, we want to optimize the workforce for productivity at certain level. And if you design something that is not sustainable, also useless. Agree or not? So you want to one-time effect, there's no point. You're wasting your resource, you're wasting your time. So when you design something that is able to sustain and having a good productivity or increase by your efficiency very well, then that is a perfect design that you have done. Okay? So again, like I say, we look into workflow first. Every flow, over time, it gets old, we have to review one. 20 years ago, this workflow is a perfect workflow. Doesn't mean that now it's still perfect. Agree or not agree?
Agree.
Why you all agree?
Because process change.
So, time change, business environment change, then what else? Technology change, right? Requirement also changes. People are smarter. Last time no education, now a lot of people are educated. If you're talking about degree, there are so many people out there right? Comparing to our father's time. Right? So all these changes, right? So that's why we need to review. Okay? Follow study, balance demand versus capacity, skill set and skill flexibility, collaborate, and dialogue. Lastly, anyone of you heard about dialogue before? Day in the life of someone. Or kilo, some people like to read kilo. So, okay, day in the life of someone. So we will use this to guide us to see how good it is. Okay. Why workforce optimization matters? I say efficiency is a survival, rising cost and tighter margin, right? So we don't want our team to be overloaded wastage? You read?
No idea.
No idea.
Lazy.
Huh? Lazy? More lazy, right? Demoralize the whole team, right? And then it gives you a lot of problem. Right? When we don't have enough work for our team, normally we have a lot of work. When a team is very efficient, normally you hear very little problem. And if the problem occur, this problem are no problem. Because if it challenge your workflow, it challenge your team competency again. So you just have to improve. Right? And that makes you better than your competitor. Right? Agree, huh? Okay? So make sure efficiency is survival, pricing cost, and item margin. Hidden productivity, workforce fatigue, and misalignment. Okay, this one, a lot of people say every time you're talking about optimization. Right? So, either I fully use my team, overloaded, right? So, but when I fully use my team, without knowing the workload, guess what you are going to get? Your team fatigue. When a person fatigue, can they work? They can, but not efficient. Right? Maybe half hour work, they will take 1 to 2 hours to do. Right? So that's why workload we talk a lot about dependency. Okay? Make sure you have this type of mindset first. When you have this type of mindset, the rest are easy, very easy to design. Okay? How you want to design, what do you mean by efficiency and all that. It's very easy to design. Okay? I will show you an example later. Okay? Optimization is not about cutting heads. It's actually unlocking potential. Okay? A lot of our time, you will realize that we also put people at the wrong place. That's why they are not performing. But you chuck them to another place that they can perform, they will normally perform. Right? And that is when we first hire them, you have to design, to go through all these interview, right? That help you to spot on the talents that you want. Okay? That's why a lot of time, nowadays we talk a lot about onboarding, right? Do we do onboarding? We do onboarding here, right? And when we onboard, how many percent of the people retain HR? We measure. We don't measure.
Based on the attrition rate.
Okay, so normally this is very important. That's why we want visibility. When we do something onboarding, there must be a statistic. There must be a success rate. What is the success rate? Then if your success rate is too low, then what do we do? What does that mean? Anyone? I said, when the success rate is too low, okay. Staff turnover, yes. But low, what does that mean? Marcus?
Not efficient.
Not efficient, yes. But what do you do? See, whole morning we are talking about Mufasa work arena, but there is no actionable kind of solution, right? So that's why first thing, mindset correct, then the second thing right now we have to go into finding solution. Right? When onboarding having problem, you have to review your onboarding processes. One of the key things I realized, just to share with you, during onboarding, why we fail to retain people is because when people come here, they feel lost. Right? It's not because of the money, right? The money matter settle already. Right? Before they jump to this ship, they already agreed on a certain amount of money with this company. Agree or not? So for the next 1 year, money is not an issue. Agree or not? But why we still is? See or not? So if we are structured, if we draw up the process flow nicely, you be able to identify where is your problem. When you know your problem, then only you can have solution. Right? Without knowing your problem, you will never know your solution. You only guess around, try and error. And sooner or later, whatever you execute is not going to turn into any fruit at all. Right? Agree? Okay? Just to share, onboarding, a lot of the time, if you have buddy system in place, and then, let's say, regular, PIP, once a month, this one also the same, regularly, HR step in to understand the people that you hired in, how is the feeling? This type of feedback is very good because it's very positive to the company, right? They will tell you the actual feeling. Okay, from there we learn where is our strength, where is our weakness, and then we correct our weakness, right? And then with the buddy system, you want to ensure someone taking care of him or her, where she want to go, how to do things, how to approach things, and things like that. When you get familiarized, everything. Right? It's exactly like when we design software, we use the word stickiness. When people buy a software, the software engineer always try to make the UI UX, user interface, user experience, as sticky as possible. Agree or not? Why as sticky as possible is important? So you remain using your application. No matter how sucks your application is, he's already so familiar with your UI UX. You ask them to move away. They don't want. Yeah. Onboarding is the same issue. Right? You have to design the flow nicely, capture the problem, monitor the problem, capture the problem, and then if you rectify the problem, this problem will never occur. And this feedback is exactly what the C-suite will appreciate a lot because it helps you to save costs. Agree? One people who come in 3 months later to leave, we wasted 3 months time. We wasted 3 months salary, we wasted 3 months time for him. And then to train another guy to take into this position, another 3 more to 6 more months. So meaning to say, that position to be stable now, you take 9 months. It's not a good thing, right? Okay, so that is what we mean. Okay, we don't want work fatigue, misalignment. It's not about cutting. Okay, it's about unlocking potential. Okay, this is one of the factory we went in. First time went in, do business review at the time. They've been asking us, you see, you talk about efficiency. Can you measure efficiency? So basically, this factory is a frozen food, fish cutting. They have this table elevated up with 4 people standing facing each other. Who at the side, who at this. Whatever target they set, you see, they always set the target. Okay, move. The target 10,000 kg. Basically, okay? 10 metric tons a day. But they are doing maximum only 8. Right? Sometimes they do as low as 4. So if we're talking about averagely, it's only 6. 6 or 6. Meaning to say, they have a 34% of gap to their target. Okay, no? So what we tell them to do is, you measure your people's efficiency every hourly. And then after we measure, we realize every hour, these 4 people, right? Every hour, even when they achieve the highest 2.8, maybe 2.9, the next hour they will drop to less than 2. See, what does that mean? Efficiency good or not? Not consistent. Not only not consistent, it's dropping all the time. Fatigue, right? If I put the guy to do a 4 hours job, do you think that after 4 hours he will drop less than 1? Possible, right? So, when we do this type of study, this type of design, we understand that, okay, what we really need is, since we have 4 people here, instead of introduce more people here, or fire all these fully automated, right? What you can do is rotating them every hour. Right? So these 4 guys go up the time will be very, very fresh. Right? So this is how HOD have to understand your workflow very well, so that you all can do a lot of adjustment and improvement. See now? Then you always have to think about how efficiency being measured. For example, system is always about activity. Right? Let's say you have 10 people under your team. Right? 1 week, how many activity are they generating? Or meaning how many customers or prospect or client that they are visiting? You must know. Right? And then we must set a target number of people they should be, because statistics is always the best way to gauge things, right? So if averagely 1 year my success rate of from the activity is only 10%, right? Then you know how much activity more you need to do if you want to increase more productivity. Okay? Yes or no? Show hand. Can do or cannot do? Try to do. Okay. Okay. Now, let's talk about workflow first. Cover the workflow. Okay. So basically, we want to streamline the flow of work across functions. Okay. Normally, I would suggest we study bottleneck analysis and process mapping. Process mapping is a key thing. I will share with you later on what that means. And then fewer hands-off, reduce delay, more consistency. Okay. So what do I mean by this? Okay. Why is it important? You see, when I have a process flow here, not only in factory but in sales, in retail or whatsoever, there are always a process flow. You have to draw step by step, one step to another step. Okay? Then only I can find out where is my mistake. When I know, let's say for example, my mistake is here, then only I can use tools like CapCut, corrective action, corrective action to make sure this mistake doesn't occur again. Yeah. Right? When this is not occurring again, that means my process flow is getting stronger and stronger each day. Right? Meaning to say, you are also very confident of the flexibility is there. Right? My success rate from 10%, now today I challenge myself, for the next quarter I want to raise it up to 15%. What should be the thing to do? You know exactly where you want to do, where to find this weakness and improve. Any question? Looks from you. Any question? Yes. Create one important one for your department first, right? I'm not asking you all to do exactly like, must have successful, and then very detailed, and then got this diamond shape, decision making. I'm asking you to, like, for example, this process, what do you do again? Service, right? Service, how do you, first thing first, you must get job in. Where do you get the job in? Who gives you the job? From sales team, right? Sales team actually tackle the customer and then you give you, right?
Marketing strategy and the after service. After sales service.
Okay. So you have to break down, see or not? So you develop the scope. Meaning to say, sales team, these are normally new. Existing customer service prepare existing. Betul? Right? So these two will go into your master schedule, where you schedule their work every day. Okay, now, then only you know your team is efficient or not. Right? If I have 5 people, I only have 3 jobs. 3 people go out, 2 in the office. Is it good or bad? Good or bad? I can't hear that. Why so soft? Again. If I have 5 people, I have 3 jobs only. Right? 3 people have job, 2 people doesn't have job. Is it good or bad?
Not way okay.
What can we do?
Standby.
Think about this. 4 stand only one. 4 stand only first time. So it is more of that. Right? So you see when we have 5, 3 is doing work, 2 doesn't have work. Right? What is the percentage of your fulfillment? 60%. Meaning to say we have 40% to work. Right? Is this 40% a work measurement to you? You see, every department different kind of measurement. Okay with you, 40%?
Yes.
Why is that okay?
Because we need standby also. Not only people go outside. Sometimes
when you say standby, 20% I give you. Not 40. Is it okay?
20% we profit also. Because
now, you know why you do not answer my question 40 whether it's good or bad is because you do not know the workload. If you have the workload study done, you know how much strength you need. Right now, that is what we talk about balancing on workload. But before we can talk about balancing on workload, we want to have a process first. Right? Where we start? Let's say to me, there are 2 issues here. 40%. First, I will talk to the sales team. I do good job from here. Or is it from here? For me, how I measure is CS, customer service. I already know, based on past history, I should have a forecast or budgeting. How much job? Agree or not? Right? Based on that. And here, this is something you can you know you have this visibility, and this is something you don't have. Right? But you also will have certain like past history. This month normally we get 5 weeks per annum. Now we only get 2. I actually budgeted the 5 week count because 1 week count is helping the 5 week per annum. So when you have this information, the sales team please. It's cross-sharing information, right? Cross-sharing information. The way is not asking you exactly to talk to them, but in your meeting when you presented all these figures, in your HOD meeting, everyone are in the same page, have the visibility of it. Right?
Maybe I can add on this topic. It is true there is one, when I was in service manager, I brought up this to management. You want service to have revenue, you should sell this type of equipment because it generates much more revenue. That is how at the end we are all offered a certain category of customer which they're willing to sign contract, they're willing to spend this money. That is the area you need to sell more. So the analysis data actually is important if you want to know how you able to improve your result. You need to know where is the area, right? So that is a topic managers actually have to spend to the top management.
It's exactly the same. You see, when let's say if I will use Eddie as a customer service visually, right? My duty in my management meeting reporting to Mr. Mr. Yi, I will tell him, look, this month, where am I? How utilize is my work resources, right? The rest is not my problem, right? I can also identify, customer service we have a lot. Like last year, 10 jobs, this year we still have 10 jobs, right? But if this year have 5 jobs, we need to say, look into the data, customer service portion, where you can improve, where you want to focus, which one making more money, see or not, right? And the sales team is not doing anything. We don't have to say, hey, sales, you are not doing things, right? You don't have to. We just present. They will see themselves. They will understand the whole scenario, right? Company will only progress, will only make money when everyone work together, not a single department, right? But we need to help each another to cross-share information so that it's a reminder because maybe I should start out to cross up. Not pinpointing, but sharing just now we talk a lot about, we use the word transparency with the one we want to say about visibility, right, Marcus? Right? So this is where visibility happens to everyone. Then only we can progress together. Okay? DJ, you okay? Can yes or no?
Yes.
So far, I think it's no more than yes. Any confused or any question you want to ask me before? I just think. Okay, HOD job is definitely very challenging nowadays. We not only monitor, but we have to create value. We have to create more so-called value added thing. This value added thing, how it come from? Is from data analysis, right? So before you can do data analysis, what do? You have to collect data, and where the data come from? Then you have instruction. Yes. You can. Okay. This time we talk about empowering people, right? When we create too many work instructions, we make human being like a robot. Right? But if you, it's always like that. In Mandarin, there is one word I always like to share. Who read Mandarin? Can help me? What is this word? Xiao. Okay? Big, right? This is big. What if I put one dot here? What does that mean? What is tiny in English?
Very.
Over. Extreme. Over. Extreme. 不是太太 okay? Outside. Okay? So, again, when we do work instruction and all that, it's good guideline. Right? You want maybe amateur or freshie come in, right? At least they are not lost. They know how to start it. But you must design this work instruction to have certain flexibility for innovation. Agree or not? If not, you train me like a robot, I work like a robot. When I'm promoted, I'm the perfect robot. That's why I tell Munira, 100 points, 100 points. I cannot be more perfect already because 100 points. See or not? So, one of the best way I always encourage people to do skill flex. Skill flex able for you to see where you are. You are good at trade. Yes, you are good at trade. And trade can allow you to do this job. Right? Moving on. What do you need? See or not? KPI is performance. Skill flex, skill set, all this is competency already. Right? Then only you talk about personal development plan. Develop a person. What do you need? Right? Not so much on performance. Train their competency so that they can create a good KPI for you. Achieve the KPI for you.
Sorry, just about the flow, because actually in customer service we have a lot of flow. Okay, and like just now Eddie mentioned also, he say it seems like somebody that we don't know what is their responsibility or accountability, but actually it's in our workflow. You know, when this happens, it's like the people actually don't understand the workflow. That is the workflow, but people don't read or don't understand. So I want to ask, should we actually simplify our workflow? If it is possible that our workflow is too complicated, so should we do a general one, a more simplified one?
Okay, exactly what I'm going to tell you today. Okay, first, my experience with Post Malaysia. Okay, the CFO that we met, right? He know we have a procurement problem. His procurement, I do for him 50 sets. 50 sets. Okay? And then by the time we pay the client is about 6 to 9 months time. Right? So we tell him optimize it, we swing it into like maybe 25. So later on what he said to me, he said, I know you guys are trying your best to help us to optimize the flow. But can you just throw away, recreate a proper one? That's where a lot of digitization, when they come in, we need to do a proper one for them all forward. I'll tell you another example. That's how you see the fish one. Right? They are supposed to, their QA/QC, the checklist kan, QA/QC, what checklist? Right? 1 month, checklist, okay, schedule checklist, 1,035. 2 people do. You divide how many minutes per day. Can you actually finish all this work? You cannot, right? So, I agree with you. Look at your flow. First, you must understand how many flow you have. Surely you can break into that. This one is receiving, this one is outgoing, whatsoever. You must have what are the flow you have. So normally when people ask me, how many flow, I will ask them one question. How many flow you have? Do you know? If you do not know, please go back today. Identify those important workflow parts. Okay, from there, yes, David, you are right. Look into this workflow, either we should streamline it. Or you think now we shouldn't practice this because whatsoever reason, I have a better workflow, you draw it up. And then you invest. Let it run. Workflow will tell you the truth one. Tak jalan, got problem, you modify, 6 months later, you have a very good workflow. You don't have to worry. You just have to check. A lot of people that I know we met before, why the workflow is complicated is because there are so many generations accomplish your workflow and my workflow combined? Will it be a lot of work for you? Yeah. Yes.
Just take over won't be changed, but after take over your things already will be changed.
Okay. You want, you can change. You must have a mentality, mindset. You must change. Okay, change to the better. Test it out. You don't take my workflow and then I ask you to do this checklist, you remain this checklist. A lot of time I ask you question, when you do so many checklists, how many times you do a checklist and you review the checklist? How many times? Practically zero, right? So what is the problem of doing this checklist when you don't review it? This is one. Secondly, manual checklist potential has a lot of human error. Data integrity. Right? So all this, is it going to help you in your work? Right? I want to be efficient. Right? So I do my will. And then these are the checklists I need to see. I monitor my work. Right? Yes.
Can I ask if let's say there is a one workflow, because I wanted to make it general and can apply by everyone, because everyone in this workflow there is different group of the people who are involved in this workflow. So do I need to separate the workflow? Okay, this workflow is belongs to you, and this workflow is belongs to you, or I make it generally and pointed out this step is belongs to you.
Okay, when you are talking about workflow, what is the objective of the workflow? You must ask first. What is the objective? What do you want to see? What do you want to monitor? What do you want to measure? See, monitor, measure. Measurement allows us to have the data so that we can improve. Okay, no? But if you cannot create this type of data, this workflow, I don't think so it's useful.
It's for everyone to know what is their role.
Then you do classy enough already, classy metric, okay. Afterward, I will show you later on in the afternoon what classy metric looks like. Okay. Workflow is managing your team. How you want them to do. If I want to do this at time, the objective is to do this at time, how they carry out. Okay? Must have an objective. Don't create something that burden you later on. Create something that you believe these are going to help you. Okay? I will wrap up in another 5 more minutes. So let's quickly. Okay, CPOC is another, just now how many of you, your free shares get 6 and above? Show hand please. 6 and above a lot, huh? So, salah ni lah. CPOC is a very popular so-called structured way of doing waste management. Okay? So what they do is they talk about supplier doesn't mean that the vendor is the one who supply the input. Okay? Then you have a process flow to digest this so that you have the output. Right? And then this output serves to reach people. That's all it is. You will see the start and the end is talking about people. Right? And then these two is input and output so that your process must have input, then only have output. Right? So that is what simple meant all these forms. It started using by the IT group, then later on a lot of people find that it's an easier way to eliminate wastage. So they started to use it. So what do I mean by that? This is one of the good examples CPOC. When supplier, 3 different people check the stock, is it a waste? Waste, right? 3 people, 3 different departments, or 3 same departments, 3 different people. Right? So why can't we just do one system check? how do we design this one system check instead of leveraging 3 people? You do already double check, triple check. Susah kan? Right? So that is what it means. He will allow you to like supplier, what is it? I input order form comes in 2 versions. Oh, anyone face this problem before? Huh? In ABAX, do we face this problem before? Different form. Then suddenly you say, this one is the old form now, you fill out the wrong form already. Ada tak? Ada kan? How do we ensure this being eliminated? Yeah. So, CPOP very quickly, see this problem, standardize into one template, how do you do that? And process flow, 2 layer of approval. Example, before packing today, do you really need 2 approval layer? 3 approval layer? And each layer of approval, what does that mean? More work, more time. More time also, right? It takes longer time to do a simple job, causing people unhappy because you gain, right? See now. So can we design one approval one? Without this flow, can you identify? You can't, right? But with the workflow, you can, right? Output. So this is very difficult, customer get invoice only after delivery. We face this problem. Who is in finance here? Who am I? In finance? Operation, but operation is doing operation, right? So how do you all pass invoicing? Email, right? It's before delivery, right? After delivery. Why after delivery?
Because these are the date payments, we have different types. Say for example, upon completion of the job,
Okay. Yes.
All these are like non-refundable, so you can collect the non-refundable.
That's fine. So you have to draw all these different flow out as a finance. Right? Why? Because you want to collect more money ahead. Certain thing, like what FK said, we just practice. Right? Normally services, I want to see the service level report before I can actually justify your work good or no good, people sign to justify your accept your work or not. Then they talk about payment. Right? But certain thing, if just a purely transaction one, can we actually collect money or follow the invoice date or whatsoever. So if these are, then you don't standardize too much. Sometimes you standardize or we do this one practice enough already. Then you don't give yourself a good advantage. Right? Okay? And then lastly, finance doesn't get delivery note, so add photocopy to finance system whatsoever. So this one I think a lot of people are doing now easily. Last time, I think 15 years ago, a lot of manual work and this causing a lot of problem. Okay? So what I'm saying here is CPOP allow you to structurally arrange all these things, and then from all these things you see where is the wastage, where is the leakages, and then I do that. It's very easy use type of method. If you all want to use it in your department to quickly identify where is your wastage and all that, by all means do so. Right? But the previous, all this flow, this will be very useful for you for CIP, continuous plan. Okay? And strengthen your managing. Okay, any questions so far? Ladies and gentlemen.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So I think this module talk about the optimization organizations, I think you give a lot of idea and tools what to use, right? I think I believe after the trainings, things were not able to kick off properly. The reason is I can foresee the challenges is we have the situation like the right people do the right thing, right? If the assignment given right to someone which they are not the right person, potentially they have a lot of that kind of gap or culture different things were coming out, right? So how we able to ensure that, because a lot of time people will say, I'm busy, therefore I can get someone to do this. Oh, example, I give example, right? That is how your problem, right? Eventually the whole exercise will in trouble again, right? So that is very often in many organizations having these issues. And also they may not able to prioritize what is the three more impactful processes thing to do, because like you said, we have maybe hundred of thousands of processes, right? So that is a crucial part when you come to the actual implementation you want to exercise this. So optimization is not that straightforward, right? So the know-how, the person need to able to see the whole overview, the whole flow, right? Then they only able to identify. Otherwise, you can come up some workflow. You keep optimize, you keep changing from very long become short, short become long. Sometimes you have, because your selection also very important, right? Okay, if your recruitment having the different range of knowledge of people, right? So you put in one, do not have much. Therefore, your workflow is no longer to guide them. That kind of challenges.
This is very good. So normally for HOD, first thing you need to do is identify what are the workflow you want to do. What are the workflow important things, right? Workflow is something, don't do it alone. Okay, just like if today I work with HOD, I don't know with your team, right? The workflow is not going to be perfection. Why? Because the one who do the work is not participating in the discussion. So I strongly recommend, if you want to do your workflow with your team, first you identify the workflow you want to do. You feel it's crucial to have first. Okay? Don't do too many workflow because you will get a lot of confusion. Right? Identify the most important one, then gather your team. Maybe have a 2-hour, 4-hour brainstorming. Grow up. Actually, when we do all these workflow, example, this workflow, our customer, they do it themselves. Right? What they do is, after they draw a simple one, then they get the BD, the essay result, then you agree with the workflow. If you can't agree with my workflow, what should I add in? So that all of us have a visibility how this is done. Here, you think, you may think, oh, I'm professional, I know all the workflow. Okay. But when you draw this up, it's completely, sometimes not completely, a portion of it is not going to judge your opinion. So that's why I say, as a consultant, we like to do what? We interview the boss, we interview the HOD, we even interview the one. Later in this afternoon, you will see, we even after do all this, we have this method called divergate in the line to actually go down and measure. You understand? Any question? Do I answer your question?
Part of it.
Part of it, yes.
Because even though they can put everyone in, right? The challenges is the capability to harmonize the entire thing become the challenge, right? Because everyone having their view, they might not be agree certain things, right? So that also another challenges
Yes. Okay, that's it. Enough for it. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Agree, strongly agree. So normally what our client like to do is they hire us to facilitate all these things. But it has to be every department their own. Then later on, once you, like for example, this company, they have done their own. After the 5th month, they are comfortable with the workflow and all that. We start to combine all departments into one giant workflow. If you can do that, meaning this workflow is very smooth. The transition from one department to another department is so slow. That's why it's slow is so flow. You can see the flow. Okay. This is a good question. It's not an easy thing. First of all, to start with, we must have a good mindset first. If our mindset is wrong, we can't even do it at all. Right? So today we are sharing how the consulting thing and also what our mindset we should have. Okay. Very good. Any more questions from the floor before we go for lunch? There's a Q&A session after lunch for 1 hour, right, for non-Muslim. So if you have any question you want to discuss with Kat or myself, by all means, please come over.
Meanwhile, waiting for our 3 clinic come back. We are not to go from Australia, so they have for 1 hour. Then feel free to raise out your question for the trainer. Make use of the time and ask what you have facing during your day-to-day operation or whatever. Then utilize this opportunity then to ask the trainer to give you some insight. Then you apply into your work, see workable or not whatever. So you will come back 1:30, yeah? Okay. 1:30, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
1 hour from this time, If you want to learn, you will ask your 1 hour. Come on.
我好早坐嘅，我同阿傾偈咯。
So I will come to any one of you. So what I need you all to do is, okay, what I need you all to do is pass the ball to the next one, but you have to call his name. Or her name. Call the name. Okay? So 1 round, we are going to calculate how many seconds you can complete within a round.
Okay.
Okay. Are you all ready? 1 round. 1 round. Okay, if I give it to Marcus will start first, so you have to call his name and pass it to him. He has to call his name and pass it to you. Right? 1 round until pass it to you. Right? So we're going to, okay, I'm going to
Sebut short name Jangan sebut banyak-banyak. Jangan full name. David D only.
Let's do this. Why is that objective? Later on I will tell you. Okay? Are you all ready? Are you all ready?
Ready.
Pertama, get set, go.
Yep.
Kan,
Eddie, cut your motor
okay. Okay. Can we write down? Your first round, your record is 13 seconds, 13.54 seconds.
Fast
Very slow.
13.5.
Sorry, 15 is very slow. Okay. 13 is very slow.
Very slow.
I have a team of 30
Very,
people, more than before, doing less than 3 seconds. So
robot.
So now, I want you all to discuss and see what should be the way to reduce the time. You what I say?
Semua pegang sekali, semua pegang. Leader, then they circle. They have the thing equal next to you only mah.
Throw the ball, they say, I say the name Tiger, now copy.
Then shout Alex.
No, there is only one rule here. The direction is very clear. Okay, pass the ball, call the name. And the person that you pass.
And then that's all.
Then we call everyone call each other's name.
Okay, how you
Oh,
can pass around.
Need to be everybody. But 3 seconds it won't
Ball is
happen.
to pass. This is a trick. The ball, I don't care how you pass the ball.
Yeah, you pass my last key,
The
then
pass-
you
No, cannot do
Everybody hang here. Then I say pass the ball, call the name, finish 3 seconds. The person name, ah.
Wait, what? Don't you call it?
Say again.
Okay, say.
Okay? 1, 2, 3.
So it's like, it's for those who need to do IT,
I say it works in many places. VIP is one, or you want to study really or not, the workload is so bad. Okay? Don't listen only to your staff. Sometimes they tell you, I have 200 mil. I have to go through every day. I have to do this, I have to do that. Say until if you listen to the coffee shop talk, you really think of them how to think. LLB also consider how to think. You know what is LLB? Look like DC. Right? So this is how we record. Right? So we call it dialogue. This method is 1994 article by Francis.
Okay, so maximize of observation is maximize.
Yeah, then you are sizing the time. Every 5 minutes you record what they do. Okay, in the end you will have this class. Okay, let me show you my favorite. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. You see, when we talk to our okay, can we start?
Yes.
Alright. Okay, that's for example my supervisor. Right? He always say, do a lot of things, guide my people, don't worry, boss. Under my management, my team will go very well. Right? All these are official documents. Right? So now, you want to assess whether is she or her doing the correct thing. Right? All you want to study is workload. Right? So what you do is, first you ask them to list down, let's say these are the 6 criteria. Active supervision, manual activity, coaching, passive supervision, administrative work, available time. Available time means B. So nice work we call it available time. Meaning you do nothing. Okay? So now, these 6 criteria we set, right? Then every 5 minutes we observe which is he belonging to these 6 criteria. And you can also make some statement beside your note, right? Even sometimes really if they are doing available time, maybe they are doing some real job. Okay, you don't want to discount it. So you can write down in your observation. But again, this study minimum 6 hours. I would suggest 8 hours minimally. 6 hours that run sometimes is even 8 hours looks good. So you don't have to worry like mystery shopper like that, don't tell him, stand aside and look. Tell them up front, I'm going to do dialogue today with you. So I'm going to sit beside you, every 5 minutes I'm going to record what you do. So for human being behavior, not easy to change. Okay, now, right? Maybe the first 10, 20 minutes are very good. Right? After that, we'll be able to change back to the norm that he practiced. Okay? So again, what I like these 3 charts versus the one that I gave to you is because first I will ask the participant, what is the wishes he spent his time in these 6 criteria? So he may say, 55% of the time I want to do active supervision. Okay? Because I'm a supervisor, right? I want to do a lot of active supervision.
Your criteria for active supervision versus the passive supervision, what's the key?
Passive supervision, okay, I don't know how to do that passive. Active supervision, this one I don't think so you're doing already. That is all. Actively monitor that thing. Right? Because nobody will know they do right or wrong. Agree or not? But only people will know, I don't know how to do, then I want to ask for help. Then I go to my supervisor and ask for help. Right? So this guy believe I need to do 55% active supervision, 50% coaching. I want to coach from him to make them understand why they do this, how they do this. It can be a mindset coaching, it can be a skill set coaching, it can be a tool set coaching. There are only 3 types of segmentation you can have, right? Then you spend 30% to do administrative work. Okay? Now, after he made the wish, his wish list, as a good supervisor, I should achieve this. Okay? Then, during that day, after he executed the whole day, end of session, you don't show them the observation first. You ask them back, now, how do you spend your time today? Then you give this again. Then this guy said, 50%. I think, no lah, I do 50% active supervision, 50% coaching, 20% administrative work, 15% manual. Okay, right? Then we share that. You see the gap fit. Gap fit, show hand. Don't know how to see, show hand. Don't know how to see, You see, here 55% he thinks that active supervision should be the case, right? But in actual fact, you only spend 45%. Right? The rest of the column, like total 15%, he only achieved 10. Right? Then 30% administrative work become 20, 70, which is still administrative work lesser already. Right? But 40% manual work. Instead of he take his time coach his team, to guide his team to do better. He do himself. You see, here, don't have one, but he takes his friend like that, which quite similar, 15 versus 14. Right? 3% has this supervision. People come and ask about. 11% available time. Look at that. 11% of 8 hours. So what it actually tells you is how he spend his time. If you doesn't agree with him, then you have to start to think how to guide him to do the work. Right? So
so-called reliable data not justified.
also leave the regulation. If you have few supervisors do to one people, do to a group, you will see the pattern, repetition pattern that you want to eliminate. And then you design your training, your coaching, how to eliminate the babies.
Must have comparison because you just have one right, you cannot compare.
No, that is the person's dialogue, right? But when I have a group of supervisor, let's say it came up to be my observation almost the same like him, right? So I know available time 7% is a lot.
It's taking up gender.
Then why is that a lot? Then I look back at my note. Whether is it because every time the break 50 minutes, they take another 5-10 minutes extra. Or do not know why today everyone start to go to the toilet very often and then come back to work day. Right? There are possibilities. That's why when you record, that's how I show you, right? We do recording, we actually write. Right? When they complain their workload is heavy, when you have this chart, you understand whether the time spent is correctly spent or not. Is it easier to discuss with your subordinate? Now,
In the current situation that you have experienced, is there any tools that people use to instead of manually?
there's no robot observation. Cannot. You can use video record, yet after recording you still have to read yourself. It's just that you are not present, technology present.
AI.
Not really AI, but you know the whole entire you have to record into the behavior you want to see. Then you manage it accordingly. Not very frequent. It's only when you feel, example, your subordinate giving you some info. Hey, I'm very hardworking, you know. Believe me, I'm very hardworking, but you don't believe what? Right? You don't believe in the sense that, hey, you always say this and that, but a lot of time he didn't, actually not show a lot of time delay his work. So I want to understand better this person, how he spend his time. Behavioral, very difficult to change, right? Even we have just now the remember the 3 steps. What is the 3 steps? Who can share with me? The first step is what? Info, will, exactly, right? So if you don't have, even if you have the info right now, you see this, you are going to use this info to convince him you are not the case, and you need to change. Bukan cakap kosong lah, bukan short talk lah. You can like, you see all the project will delay, but you show them the project delay plus this type of study for a few days. You really justify. This one, 2, your team, the whole team behave. Are they behaving the same? And when they are behaving the same thing, what does that mean? Meaning to say your management system, the way you manage them, something wrong. Agree or not? obviously 5 of them, 11% of the time is available. And yet he can tell me, I'm very, very, very busy. Can you believe it? Right? After you have all the observation, these are good data for you to negotiate with him. You see, information from these people, you have to collect data, right? To collect data, if the data is genuine, is true, is fact, nobody can challenge you. Right? Then, when the truth revealed, then you look for how do you know? My bottom line is very simple, right? You talk to your staff, I just want things to be more efficient. How can we achieve that? Right? Let's sit down and work together. I empower you with all the authority you need. You know, you don't come back and play the distrusting to me. Right? Let's work as a team. Right? I have my task to do, you have your task to do. If certain things that you need help from me, I can help you. You know, that's why weekly meeting, like I said just now, it's a must to have for the department at least 1 hour per week. Okay, 1 hour, one maximum 1.5 hours per week. Enough. But go through with them, understand all your staff, your immediate staff, what are they doing? And cut down into your action log. And then for action log, just now you see, right, you can immediately turn into photo study, focus of area, blah, blah, blah. You know, you're more comfortable now that you have visibility of your team's activities. Any question? Simple, right? It's very useful. Like I say, all these tools, it's not rocket scientists. It's only one thing, tedious. Right? You will like your reaction tell me, wow, every 5 minutes you want to write down. But all this information will give you very accurately to react how you want to plan things out. Who find this tool useful? Show hand please. Useful. Useful. Yeah. Can do or not? Not can do, okay. Normally this one, sorry.
Only those that are applicable, right?
Only when you want to do workload study, only when you want to assess your team whether is he really that busy or not, you know. If he really busy, this chart will show, and when this chart show that he is busy as what he or she claims, that means he will do something, right? And he gives us the power, you know, of justification. I send to my boss, I want a new account. Why you need a new account? This is the result. Facts and figures out. You wouldn't like. Rather than you go, hey boss, I want one additional account. Why you want an additional account? You talk until tomorrow, next year you also will get it. Right? But if you have justification to show them, right, we are actually under stuff, we need more. This will be the best. Okay now. Every time you do your assessment on your flow already, you design your workflow, then you want to test, use this to test. Very accurate. Okay, any question? No. So far? Happy, yeah? Happy. Okay, prepare, huh? To optimize workflow, what do we do? 3 steps. To workforce, optimizing workforce, what are the 3 steps we need to do? Swimming also. Okay, workflow optimization, streamline the processes. This is streamlining workflow. This one must do first. Because this is the key thing, right? If you do this, then later on you do this, then you streamline, then you have to report again. See now, huh? Then the next thing you need to do is the workload study to ensure that the workload is balanced. Not balanced, then you have to see how to balance it. Okay, you don't want to overload or underload. Lastly, dialogue, reality check, see how time is spent. They really spend the time just to confirm your arguments of the statement. Yeah. Okay, then streamline workflow, like I said, suggested, use the flow that from one step to the other, then you can draw whatever you want later on with the PIC or if can DRI even better. What is DRI? Exactly, direct responsible individual. That means I pinpoint the person. If I say David, please David, you don't see anyone else. But I think sometimes I say BDT, business development team, someone, right? And then lastly, what is the workflow? Like I say, workflow, the easy way out is one of the things you can do is the action log. It's part of the meeting minutes. You turn the action log into something that you can analyze so that you can understand better. If you're able to have this information, that means your weekly meeting is very, very successful. Because you know every single inside out of your team, how they spend their time, do they do it correctly? Then, especially sales, we talk about strategy, right? And we can discuss a little bit about strategy because we have two technologies, right? Inside the pivot of action log. Okay? And then lastly, dialogue day in a life with someone. This is a very good study so that you know where is their strength, where is your weakness, how you want to improve further. Okay, but you have to design. Make sure the criteria you want is inside there. Okay? That's all I have for you today. Any question? One last one. Don't have? I will pass it to